Hello, today I'm going to teach you how to change a tire. Imagine you're in a snowstorm, terrible snowstorm, you can only see a couple feet ahead of you when suddenly your tire pops. Now you're stranded on the side of the road, no cell service, and you don't know how to change a tire. I know and have met plenty of people that this situation has happened to before. They've been stranded on the side of the road, sometimes for hours, waiting for help because they don't know how to change their tires. I try to teach those that don't know how to change their tire so they don't face this problem. I know that all of you drive vehicles, and so at least once in your life you're going to have to change your own tire, or you're going to have to help somebody change theirs. For those of you who already know how to change a tire, this will be a good refresher for you. The 4 steps to changing a tire are: secure the car, loosen the lug nuts, take the hubcap off, jack up the car, remove the lug nuts, take off the tire, then you're going to put the spare on, put the lug nuts on, and finally you're going to lower the car, tighten the lug nuts, and replace the hubcap. So let's get started. First, you want to make sure that your car is in park, and if it's a manual, you want to make sure it's in gear. Then you're going to put your car in the parking brake. You're going to pull the parking brake and set the parking brake so it doesn't roll away. And then you're going to find large rocks or some boards and block off the 3 good tires. 2 of them are going to go in front of the 2 of the good tires, and then 1 is going to go behind, so it can't roll either way. Next, you're going to remove the hubcap. You can use a flathead screwdriver, or you can use the handle on your jack, the flat part, to pry it off. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to break the lug nuts loose. Remember, it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So you want to make sure that you loosen them up just enough that they're pretty finger loose, but you don't want to remove them just yet. And you want to remove them and break them loose in a star pattern. The images I'm using today are from Brett and Cade McKay from theartofmanliness.com, 2012. Now the tire is prepared, let's move on to the next step. Now you're going to jack up and remove the tire. Petpoise.com tells us not to put the jack on any soft ground. Make sure that it's solid, because when you start jacking up the car, it can make the jack sink, and it can fall off of the jack. Your car can fall off of the jack, which could cause serious harm to you and the car. They tell us that in their 2001 article, 9 steps to changing a tire. If you're not sure where the jacking point is on your car, you want to make sure that you look in your owner's manual, and it should tell you in there where your jacking point is. WikiHow's 2001 article, How to Change a Tire, tells us that the jacking point can be anywhere along the frame of the car. Now you're going to jack now that your jack is in place, you're going to jack it either up or down. You're going to pump the jack, or you're going to turn it clockwise and raise the car just enough that the tire spins freely. And now you're going to finish removing your lug nuts and put them in a safe place so they don't get lost. And then you're going to grab the tire and you're going to pull it directly towards you until it comes free of the vehicle. Alright, now that the tire is off, let's put the spare tire back on. Now you're going to lift the spare tire just off the ground to line the bolts from the car to the holes that are in the rim. And you're going to slide that on nice and snug. And then you're going to tighten the lug nuts down pretty snug so that it doesn't move forward or backward, and that it just stays on there pretty flush. It doesn't have to be super tight yet, it just needs to hold it pretty tight. Now that the tire's back on, let's finish this up. So now we're going to lower the jack, and you're going to turn the handle counterclockwise, or if it's a pump jack, you turn it to the left, and it should release the pressure and let you lower the car. Now you want to tighten up the lug nuts. And now, don't forget about the star pattern that we talked about earlier, taking them off, because you want to use the star pattern to tighten them up. Tireplex's Krishna Singh's article from 2019, Tightening Lug Nuts and the Crisscross Pattern Explained, tells us that it is very important that you tighten them in a star pattern. That way the tire is nice and snug against the vehicle, and that it's not offset in any way. Alright, after you get the lug nuts snug, you want to make sure that you're not cranking them down just as tight as you can. You want to make sure that they're tight enough that they're not going to loosen themselves up, but loose enough that you can get them off with a T-wrench again if need be. Alright, now you're going to take your hubcap and align the valve stem with the little cutout on the hubcap. Align that up, and then you're going to go in a circular motion and push it on flush against the rim. Now, now that that's finished, let's go over the steps again. So, we secured the car and took off the hubcaps and loosened the lug nuts, and then we jacked up the car and removed the tire. Then we put the spare on, put the lug nuts back on, and finally we lowered the jack, tightened the lug nuts, and replaced the hubcap. Hopefully now that I have taught you how to change a tire, if you ever find yourself on the side of the road, especially in a terrible snowstorm, you'll be back on the road again in no time.